Cognitive impairment is characterized by problems in thinking, memory, language, and judgment that are greater than cognitive changes in normal aging. Considering the unprecedented growth of the older adult population and the projected increase in the prevalence of cognitive impairment, it is imperative to find effective strategies to improve or maintain cognitive function in older adults. The objective of this review is to summarize the effects of dance versus any other control group on cognitive function, physical function, adverse events, and quality of life in older adults. Method. We will search the following databases: Medline, Embase, and Cochrane Central Register of Controlled Trials, Central, to identify the randomized controlled trials, RCTs, evaluating the effects of dance on cognitive function among older adults. Also, we will search apps.who.inc web link, clinicaltrials.gov and conference abstracts to identify ongoing and unpublished studies. There will be no restrictions on language, date, or journal of publication. Reviewers will independently and in duplicate screen for eligible studies using predefined criteria. Data extraction from eligible studies will be performed independently and in duplicate. The Cochrane Risk of Bias tool will be used to assess the risk of bias of studies. Our primary outcome of interest is cognitive function, more specifically the executive function domain. We will include other domains as well, such as processing speed and reaction time. Secondary outcomes of interest are physical function. The secondary outcomes also include adverse events including falls and quality of life. We will use Review Manager, RevMan 5.3, to pool the effect of dance for each outcome where possible. Results will be presented as relative risks along with 95% confidence intervals for dichotomous outcomes and as mean differences, or standardized mean differences along with 95% confidence intervals, for continuous outcomes. We will assess the certainty of the evidence using the grade approach and present findings in a summary of findings table. Discussion. This systematic review, to our best knowledge the first ever, will synthesize the available evidence on the effects of dance on cognitive function among older people. Systematic Review Registration. Prospero CRD 42017057138. Background. There is unprecedented growth in the global population of older adults, aged 65 and over, with an increase from 8.5% in 2015 to 16.7% in 2050. 1. Cognitive impairment is characterized by problems in thinking, memory, language, and judgment that are greater than cognitive changes in normal aging, which varies from mild to severe. 2. Decline in cognitive function has emerged as one of the major health challenges, as 1 in 2 people over age 85 diagnosed with dementia, while the estimated prevalence of mild cognitive impairment, among people aged 60 and over, is 5 to 36% in the year 2015. 3. 4. Therefore, we need to identify interventions that can help older people to maintain physical and cognitive functions to allow for involvement in social activities and maintain independence. 5. Numerous studies have shown that aerobic exercise, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, muscle strengthening, 8, 10, and coordinative activity, 7, 11, improve cognitive ability. However, physical activities vary considerably in the degree of sensory motor complexity, cognitive demand, and degree of social interaction, and thus, the attenuation of cognitive decline may be dependent on the type of exercise. 12. Dance may be an effective intervention that synergistically improves both cognitive and physical functions. Dance consists of complex elements, such as synchronization of movement to music, memorization of step sequence, and social interaction, which, on its own, is recognized as having a beneficial effect on cognition. 13. It requires involvements of several cognitive and physical functions through perception, execution, memory, and motor skills. 14. Over the last decade, dance is gaining popularity as a therapeutic activity for improving the cognitive ability of older people. For example, dance therapy for Parkinson's, 15, 16, and dementia, 17, 18. A number of non-randomized, 19, 20, and randomized trial, 12, 21, studies have shown the effectiveness of dance on cognitive function. To our knowledge, this proposed systematic review is the first aimed to synthesize the evidence from randomized controlled trials measuring the effects of dance on cognitive function in older adults.